All right, story time. So I'm Cody Huffstedler, host of the Dying to Tell You podcast and palliative care chaplain, and I'm going to tell you a story about one of the most beautiful things I ever saw in a family meeting at the hospital. So there was a man in the hospital who had incurable cancer, and he was trying to decide whether or not he was going to get more chemotherapy, even though he had progressed through a couple of lines of chemotherapy. And I was part of a family meeting where he was talking with his family and with our team, the palliative care team, about whether or not he wanted to do that because chemo had been really hard for him. So after a pretty long discussion about how chemo had been for him and what was important to him, he decided not to do any more chemotherapy, much to the disappointment of his family. Because this meant that he was going to go home and die with the support of a hospice team. And his wife was understandably tearful and in a supportive, not a manipulative way, said, "Don't you think you should just try one more time?" She didn't want to lose him. And then he said one of the most beautiful things I have ever heard a person say. He said, "Everything's okay. I'm going to go home, and you're going to go home with me, and we're going to spend good time together as much as we can until I die. And when I die, it will be okay. And then you'll take my ashes and you'll bury them underneath the tree in the backyard, and you'll come out and visit me every day. Until one day it'll be too much or you'll be too busy and you'll forget to come out. And that'll be okay. And then you'll come out every other day for a little while. And then eventually you'll come out once a week, and then it'll be once a month, and then it'll be once a year. And then eventually people will stop coming out to visit me. That's okay." And that has stuck with me, as you might imagine. I just thought that was a beautiful statement of acceptance of what is and the way of life and death. It also let his family off the hook, telling them that he understands, that they'll remember him, and that coming out to visit him will happen, and then it won't happen, and that's okay. Not all of us will get to a place of acceptance like that, but it is something to strive for. And the more we talk about it, the more likely we are to get there. Okay, like, follow, share, and listen to the Dying to Tell You podcast anywhere you get your podcast. Love you, bye.